Laura Ingraham, this is the Ingraham Angle from Washington tonight. Happy Valentine's Day.
Laura Ingraham, host of The Ingraham Angle, opened her show by discussing a speech given by J.D. Vance at the Munich Security Conference. Vance, a U.S. senator, delivered what Ingraham described as a much-needed wake-up call to European allies, contrasting sharply with the Biden administration's approach. Vance criticized the European Union for its increasing hostility towards free speech, suggesting that European leaders are running in fear of their own voters. He emphasized the importance of democratic mandates and the need for leaders to be responsive to their citizens' voices, drawing parallels to the political climate in the United States under President Trump. Vance's speech highlighted the suppression of free speech in Europe, comparing it to authoritarian regimes. He pointed out that the previous U.S. administration had also engaged in censorship by pressuring social media companies to silence what was deemed misinformation, particularly around the origins of the coronavirus. This, he argued, was a betrayal of democratic values shared between the U.S. and Europe. Ingraham praised Vance for his candidness, noting that his comments were a stark departure from the usual diplomatic rhetoric, focusing instead on cultural and democratic issues rather than traditional security concerns like Russia or China. The discussion then shifted to the broader implications of Vance's critique, particularly regarding mass migration in Europe. Vance argued that European voters did not elect leaders to open their borders to millions of unvetted immigrants, but rather to address their concerns about cultural identity and security. He suggested that the rise of populist movements in Europe is a direct response to the elite's failure to listen to the populace, a sentiment echoed by Ingraham, who noted similar feelings among MAGA supporters in the U.S. before Trump's political rise. Ingraham and guest Glenn Greenwald discussed the reaction to Vance's speech, particularly from European leaders who took umbrage at his comments. Greenwald pointed out that the establishment's hostility towards Trump and similar figures often stems from their questioning of long-held foreign policy orthodoxies, especially regarding NATO's role post-Cold War. He praised Vance for challenging these foundational premises, which he believes have led to destructive policies and wars, and for highlighting the internal threats to democracy from within both the U.S. and Europe. The segment concluded with Ingraham and Greenwald reflecting on the broader implications of Vance's speech. They discussed how the rise of populist movements globally is a reaction to the failure of traditional political institutions to address the real concerns of their citizens. Greenwald emphasized that instead of self-reflection, these institutions often blame external factors like misinformation or foreign interference for their declining trust, a narrative Vance directly challenged by pointing out the self-inflicted wounds of these democracies.
To satisfy the mythical global order.